Hello, and welcome to Bipolar Thoughts. My name is Steven, and I'll be your host. If you're new here, I want to welcome you and say thank you for tuning in. Today's a special episode where I'll dive into the correlation between coffee and bipolar disorder. This isn't a topic that's discussed very often and not one that I've seen covered before, so I thought I'd give a little information on the topic. This might sound a little scripted just because it is. I'm trying to stay away from scripted episodes, but with all this information and the informational episodes that I've been doing here recently, it just seems like without having some sort of script, it's just way too much information to try and throw out there, shooting from the hip. So again, it might sound a little scripted, but it's just kind of the nature of the beast. So let's dive right in. Consuming caffeine is a regular part of many people's everyday routine. It may even provide health benefits. However, some evidence suggests that caffeine consumption may trigger episodes of extreme mood disturbances in people with bipolar disorder. Experts warn that researchers need to conduct more studies to understand and interpret the possible effects of caffeine on bipolar disorder symptoms. Now, most research on the effects of caffeine on bipolar disorder indicates that the stimulant may trigger manic episodes. Caffeine acts as a mood elevator, and some experts have suggested that caffeine may, as a result, trigger the disorder's manic episodes, which some may refer to as high periods. Case reports have described individuals who experienced manic episodes with psychotic features such as delusions of grandeur after consuming large quantities of caffeine. I'm going to go ahead and say that I don't know about anybody else, but coffee is a weird thing for me. Coffee, it's the one and I say coffee, it's not just coffee, but caffeine in general, really. Like, I'm the kind of person that can drink a pot of coffee and then an hour and a half or an hour later go to bed. Like, it, for some reason, it just doesn't bother me the same way. I don't know why, and I think that's weird. That makes me wonder if you're out there and you drink coffee on a regular basis and you have bipolar disorder, please email me or message me or do something and let me know how that affects you. Because I'm curious to find out if other people with bipolar disorder are like this, where you can drink coffee pretty much any time of the day and it not really affect whether or not you're going to go to sleep or not. So this is kind of, for me, it's kind of contradictory to what this is saying, because I don't necessarily think that coffee really triggers a manic episode for me. Not for me personally. I'm sure that some people do, but I mean, I can drink Mississippi Mud coffee and it would still not put me to sleep. I mean, and it'd still not keep me, like, wired all night long. I don't want to say that it, like, elevates my mood in a way that, like, puts me in a good mood. I will say that, like, in the morning when I have my first couple of cups of coffee, that does kind of put me in a better mood, but that's just because I've just fucking woke up and coffee's fucking, like, right there. I mean? Like, it's what wakes you up. I don't know. I find that it's very hard for me to find anything else in the morning to drink. Like, I can't do tea. Tea tastes like it tastes too much like dirt, and I can't do it first thing in the morning. At least the tea that I drink, the yerba that I drink, tastes like fucking dirt. So I can't do it first thing in the morning, especially with honey and everything else. It just doesn't. It's like, it's too sweet, or I don't know. It's just something about it I can't fucking do. Like Red Bulls, I could do Red Bull, but not first thing when I first wake up. See, here's the thing. We're pretty sure that I have insomnia, so I don't sleep very much at all. In fact, it's 4 o'clock in the morning right now. While I'm recording this, and to be honest with you, almost every one of my episodes that I record has been done at about 3 or 4 in the morning. Again, just because I don't sleep very much, which I would say that my sleep has more to do with anything else than the coffee. And you would think that the coffee is the reason why my sleep is so fucked up, but I don't think that's what it is. I actually have a sleep study coming up pretty soon, so that should maybe kind of give me some insight onto whether or not it is the coffee or whether it's something else. But we're pretty Pretty sure I have insomnia, and I don't think it was caused by coffee. Which kind of brings me into like the elevated moods. But even if that's the case, coffee is a mood stimulant, and it can cause reactions, I guess, within the body. So, like depressive symptoms. Many studies have looked at the effects of caffeine on symptoms of depression among the general population. They generally find that moderate caffeine consumption, meaning up to 400 milliliters per day, may reduce the likelihood of depression. However, caffeine withdrawal can also lead to depression-like symptoms such as low mood, difficulty concentration, and irritability. Not to mention, it can give you a giant fucking headache. I know that for me personally, like I just started developing migraines not very long ago, and funny story about that though, I actually had a doctor who told me you can't just develop migraines, that they don't just pop up out of the rent. Like basically she was like, you're fucking born with migraines, and that's like, it was some kind of disease. Like migraines are a disease that you're born with, and there's no cure for them, and it's basically you have cancer if you have migraines. Like there's no cure for it. You're pretty much gonna have to suffer with it. Not to make light of cancer or to make like any kind of joke about that. My grandma died from lung cancer, so I'm not joking about that. That's not a funny thing. I'm just saying that it's, the comparison of the two is just fucking ridiculous. Like, I don't know. It was just insane the way that this lady like tried to explain things to me. Eventually she was just like, "No, you have a tension headache," and I'm like, bitch, I have fucking knots all in my neck from stress and anxiety. Like, I am one giant stress ball, knot of stress, and you're gonna tell me that it's a tension headache? No, bitch. If this was a tension headache, I'd have been having them for my whole fucking life. I've been tense and anxious my entire life. This would not just now be popping up in my life if it was a tension headache. Like, no, you're insane. So, didn't like that lady. But I will say that I think sleep has more to do with anything than coffee. And I don't think that my sleep is really affected so much by my coffee. But I digress. Let's get back to the topic at hand, because if I don't, I'll fucking ramble forever. Researchers have not extensively studied the effects of caffeine on depressive symptoms in people with bipolar disorder. However, the results of an older 2009 study, which looked at how drinking caffeine affected people with bipolar disorder, led to some concerns. The research found no link between coffee consumption and the number of depressive or manic episodes a person experienced in a year. However, people with bipolar disorder who regularly drink coffee were more than twice as likely to engage in suicidal acts. Again, more research is necessary to confirm the effects of caffeine on bipolar symptoms. And caffeine may also affect bipolar symptoms by interfering with treatment. The enzyme cytochrome P450-1A2, known as CYP1A2, metabolizes caffeine. It also metabolizes many other types of medications, including antipsychotics that doctors use to treat bipolar disorder. These include clozapine, and olanzapine. I can't pronounce those, and they have generic names. Chlorazil, I cannot pronounce these names, so if you take them, I apologize. I'm just not good at pronouncing half these fucking names of these medicines, and there's so many of them, it's confusing. Anyway, caffeine and antipsychotic medications compete for a finite amount of the enzyme in your body. Ingesting too much caffeine decreases the amount of the enzyme available for the body to metabolize medications. This can lead to a potentially dangerous buildup of these medications. A recent report described a person who was taking clozapine, however you say it, and began consuming 600 milligrams of caffeine in the form of 4 energy drinks daily for 3 weeks. He experienced toxicity that resulted in lung and kidney failure. Caffeine may interfere with metabolism of other types of medications that people with bipolar may take to alleviate their symptoms, including some antidepressants and anti-anxiety medications. Heavy caffeine consumption can affect the body levels of lithium, a mood stabilizer that doctors commonly use to treat bipolar disorder. Pause. Lithium fucked me up. I don't know about anybody else, and I know that it helps a lot of other people, but it fucked me up. I was a zombie, and then I got really depressed. Like, I went into a very low phase. But yeah, that was just a little side note. I hope it works for you. If it does work for you, great. But if you take lithium for your first time, be careful on it, because it can, like, really pay attention to how you feel when you're taking it, because it can really fuck you up really quick. The body excretes lithium in the urine. As caffeine is a diuretic, it may lower the levels of lithium in the body and by increasing the urine output. Quality sleep is an important component of managing the symptoms of bipolar disorder. Sleep regulation, which can affect mood stability, is common among people with bipolar disorder. Caffeine intake can decrease sleep quality, and research suggests that caffeine use is higher among people with bipolar disorder and sleep quality. Given the possible unintended consequences of caffeine on overall sleep quality, people with bipolar disorder who need an energy boost may wish to focus on improving their sleep hygiene. Steps for doing this include putting a consistent nighttime routine in place, refraining from using electronic devices before bed, increasing daily physical activity, avoiding eating large meals shortly before going to bed. Now, I will say that might be true for people with bipolar, but realistically, those are just normal. Like, everybody should do that. This is something for, like, everyone should do that. Like, for people with bipolar disorder, this isn't like a specific, hey, you need to do this. This is a specific, like, everybody in the fucking world should do this, because it's what helps people sleep better. Like this isn't like a specific to bipolar routine. I wish there was. I wish someone would come up with, like, a real, like, okay, you have bipolar, you're trying to go to sleep, this is the routine you should do. Because if you don't, you're not going to fucking sleep. Which would be fucking amazing for me, because I don't sleep. So how much caffeine is safe? The FDA recommends that most adults limit their caffeine consumption to no more than 400 milligrams per day to avoid negative side effects. However, this limit may be different for people who are sensitive to the effects of caffeine, such as people with bipolar disorder. There is no set rule for how much caffeine is safe for people with bipolar disorder to consume, and most reports suggest that caffeine-induced manic episodes occur after excessive caffeine consumption, meaning more than 600 milligrams per day. It is unclear whether effects may occur with lower amounts. I'll tell you, I drink a lot of coffee, and I don't know that coffee is the reason why I've jumped into any kind of manic episode. But the International Bipolar Foundation recommends that people with bipolar disorder avoid caffeine entirely. The British Association for Psychopharmacology, on the other hand, suggests that individuals likely to be sensitive to caffeine simply monitor their intake and reduce it if necessary. People with bipolar disorder should discuss their caffeine consumption with a psychiatrist to determine whether limitations are advisable for them. It is important to check the specific caffeine levels before consuming any products. However, the product information available online suggests that typical caffeine levels in some common sources are coffee, 95 milligrams per 8-ounce cup, decaffeinated coffee, 4 milligrams per 8-ounce cup, an espresso has 65 milligrams per 1.5 shot, black tea have 47 milligrams per 8-ounce cup, green tea 28 milligrams, regular or diet dark soda has 40 milligrams per 12-ounce can. Damn, that's insane. Dark chocolate has 24 milligrams, and energy drinks have 170 milligrams per 16-ounce can. That's almost double what coffee has. Like, it's basically like drinking 2 cups of coffee. That's crazy to me, because I can drink like 3 Red Bulls back to back and like maybe catch a little bit of a caffeine buzz. Like, it's not really that insane. But here is something that needs to be paid attention to, because if you're not careful with it, it can cause some problems. And that's some pain relievers may also include high quantities of caffeine. And pain relievers are one of those ones that you have to be careful with, because addiction also runs really high with people with bipolar disorder. So if you are trying to take pain medication, and you're getting that little caffeine high off of it, be careful, because that can cause a lot more damage than it can good. So I think I'm just going to go ahead and wrap this up, though. This has been a little bit longer of an episode than I really kind of planned for it to be. I guess basically the gist of the show is that if you drink coffee and you have bipolar disorder, apparently you need to be careful, because it can fuck you up. It can cause manic episodes. I would suggest that you go talk to a doctor before you make any changes to your life, before you stop drinking coffee because you heard this, or start drinking coffee because you heard this, or before you make any changes to your routine like that. Talk to a doctor, because first of all, I'm not a medical professional. I don't fucking know shit. All I did is do some research about the shit and then give it to you, give the information to you. So don't take what I say as fucking medical fact. This is just the research that I found, and I'm just giving it out there to you. So never feel like you have to sit and do this by yourself. Just remember, you don't have to sit in the dark alone.